Well, the college football playoffs are all set after championship weekend, and even though they won the Big Ten, Ohio State won't make an appearance. If you missed any of the big games from Saturday, we have Anim Osmani in studio to catch you up. Anim?
Thanks, Lainey. It was one of the most important weeks of college football as conference titles and the playoff berth were on the line. Let's first take a look at how Heisman frontrunner Baker Mayfield and his Oklahoma Sooners did against TCU in the Big 12 championship. The two teams are facing off for the second time in 4 weeks. Oklahoma won the previous matchup 38-20. On TCU's first play from scrimmage, running back Kyle Hicks fumbles the ball and Caleb Kelly collects a loose ball and takes it back 18 yards for a score, giving TCU Kenny Hill a nasty stiff arm at the end. 10-0 Sooners, only a few minutes into the game. TCU down 17-0 at the end of first. Second quarter, Kenny Hill to true freshman wide receiver Jalen Reagor against the blitz. A beautiful connection there, 17-7. Again, Hill with an outside throw. This time, John Diarse, and he makes a ridiculous one-handed grab for the touchdown. Make that 14-17. Tight game right there. This is why you can never call a game over in the first quarter, I guess. Mark Andrews catches a touchdown pass from Mayfield for a second time. Sooners up 10. Again, in the second half we go. Sooners score on their first play as Baker Mayfield connects with wide receiver Mikael Jones for 55 yards. This will make the Sooners up by 2 scores. At this point, I think you couldn't call a game. Oklahoma gets their 8th Big 12 title with a score of 41-17. Over in Atlanta, the Georgia Bulldogs are presented with an opportunity to avenge their loss to the Auburn Tigers to attain the SEC championship and get back into the playoff picture. Second quarter, Georgia ties it up with a play-action pass from Drake Fromm with 2 M's to tight end Isaac Nada. That was Nada's second touchdown of the season. Fast forwarding to the fourth quarter, Bulldogs up 14. True freshman running back DeAndre Swift outruns the entire Auburn defense for 67 yards. Talk about speed. The Tigers literally saw all their hopes run away from them. And the Georgia wins the SEC and is back in the national championship playoff picture. At Indianapolis, undefeated Wisconsin taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. J.T. Barrett starting for the Bucs after he underwent surgery 2 Sundays ago for a partially torn meniscus. Barrett seemed to be doing just fine as he casually led the Buckeyes on a 95-yard scoring drive, including this 84-yard strike to wide receiver Terry McLaurin after a Buckeye interception. Wisconsin strikes next with a pick 6 by Andrew Van Winkle. Tied at 7 in the first. However, Ohio State scores on the assuming possession as Paris Campbell breaks free. Bad tackling right here on the bubble screen, and he outruns everybody, and I mean everybody. Bucks up a touchdown. Second quarter, explosive freshman running back J.K. Dobbins find nothing but space up the middle and pulled off a nice long run here for 77 yards. Soon brought down inside the 5, putting the Buckeyes in scoring position. They eventually scored with a run from Barrett. Wisconsin slowly creeps back into the game with an 11-3 run in the second half. Here's the only touchdown score so far with a 1-yard dive from Chris James. Ohio State looking to respond. Look at J.T. Barrett fight for this conversion on 4th and 1. What an effort. May I remind you, he had a knee operation just 6 days before this matchup. Buckeyes had to settle for a field goal, however, 27-21 at that point. 2 minutes left in the game. 4th and 20, their season on the line, and Honey Brooks throws an interception. Ohio State leaves Indianapolis as Big Ten champions. J.K. Dobbins won the player of the game of that game, but Barrett could have made a case to win that. But whatever, 27-21 is the final score. If anything, Barrett could have made the case to make it to the playoffs, but the committee decided to bump up Alabama to the 4th seed. In other parts of the FBS, Clemson makes light work of Miami at the ACC title game, and USC down Stanford for the Pac-12 crown. The most exciting game of the week must have been UCF versus Memphis in the American Athletic Conference Championship. Nobody could have expected that. But it took UCF a double overtime to be the only team to retain their undefeated season. Final score of that game, 62-55. I'm Anim Osmani for the Suffolk Sports Report. Lainey, Sean, back to you guys.
Thanks, Anim. And with that, the college football playoffs are all set with Clemson taking the top seed. They'll go head-to-head with 4-seed Alabama. And number 2, Oklahoma will match up with SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs. Those games are both on New Year's Day, and the winner of each will face off for the CFB title.